In this video, we're going to be testing out Borderlands 4 on the all-new AMD Ryzen Z2 Extreme. What I've got here is the MSI Claw A8, and it's powered by the Z2 Extreme. We've got 24 gigs of RAM, an 8-inch 1200p display with VRR, and an 80 watt-hour battery. This has been one of my favorite new handhelds. It's been my go-to for the past 2 months, and I'll have a final review coming up soon. But I've had a lot of people asking about how this game is going to run on the Z2 Extreme, so I figured I'd go ahead and make a quick video. I'm going to be testing with 2 different power profiles. We'll go up to 35 watts, which is basically maxed out here for the Z2 Extreme, and we're also going to be testing at an 18 watt TDP for battery life. So with that out of the way, let's jump into it. I'm going to connect this to my game capture so we can get a better look at everything. Okay, first thing I wanted to try here was 1080p on the Z2 Extreme. We're not using any frame gen right now. And if we head into the settings, you can see we're right at 1080. Medium settings, FSR set to balanced. We're at a 35 watt TDP here, so we're basically maxed out with the built-in software on the MSI Claw A8, and it's struggling to keep a steady 30 FPS. I kind of suspected that this would be the case. This game is pretty hard on these iGPUs for sure. So playing it like this, I mean, just really isn't going to be an enjoyable experience. We could add a little bit of frame gen here. But the problem with that is, if we want to get up to 60, we still need really a steady 30 to use frame gen and get us up there. We'll probably see an average of around 47. I mean, we haven't even gotten to any kind of gunplay yet. So once there's a ton of explosions on screen, this is probably going to dip down even more. So right now, the way it is with Borderlands 4, 1080 on the Z2 Extreme just really isn't going to work out very well. So there's a few things we could do here. We can definitely take the resolution down or the settings, and I think our best bet right now would be resolution and settings, seeing what we've got. But let's take the resolution down and see what happens. So we're going to go down to, let's do 1600 by 900. We're going to keep it right there at medium, no frame gen, FSR set to balanced. That takes us up a little bit, so we are over that 30 threshold, and for the most part, it should stay here pretty decently. But I don't know if I really want to play this at 30 FPS. And of course, we're on a handheld right now. We're plugged in using game capture, so we're at a 16 by 9 aspect ratio. I want to save some battery on this, if we're in non-docked mode. So we'll take a look at some lower wattage, lower resolution in just a bit. But even at 30, let's see what happens here. Okay. We'll just go ahead and take him out. Let him go. Yeah, there you go, buddy. I don't know, man. It just doesn't feel great at 30. So I think if we introduce a little bit of frame gen here at this 35 watt TDP, we could see some pretty decent performance. But I'm not exactly sure if it's going to keep us over that 60 threshold. Let's go ahead and try it real quick. All we need to do is jump into the options. We'll enable frame gen. Definitely feels a lot better. But even then, you can see we're at like 50 with it. And yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and give up here. So it's getting pretty close. But even without, a ton of particle effects on screen, still going to dip under that 60 mark. So we can drop it down to low here. We're still at 1600 by 900. Oh yeah, that should take us up pretty decently here. Let's see, what do I have here? Oh yeah, not that one. And I'll swap that. Let's see. Input latency, I mean, isn't all that bad here. If you're not doing, a multiplayer game, like let's say Call of Duty or Battlefield or something, doing single player with frame gen isn't horrible on this setup. But we're at low 900p here, 35 watt TDP. So it really does look like, if we want to get that locked down at 60, we're going to need to go to 700 or 800p, which is unfortunate. But on a smaller screen, even though we've got an 8-inch display here on the MSI Claw A8, it shouldn't look too horrible. But yeah, I was really hoping at that 35 watt TDP, we'd be up over 60 all the time with it, given that we've got frame gen on at low settings. Okay, so now I want to show you how I've really been playing it on the MSI Claw A8. So you can see our TDP is up to 25 watts, but we're actually not going to be there for long. It's going to come back down. If we head into our quick menu here, 18 watts sustained TDP. SPPT up to 28, that's going to be 2-minute boost up there, and FPPT is a 10-second boost up to 33. I really wish that MSI would kind of just set this up so we can go to 18 across the board so we don't have to wait it out. But we're going to be at an 18 watt TDP with this game. We're at low settings here, FSR balanced, frame generation on. It's kind of crazy, but there's not that much of a difference between this 18 watt up to 35 with this game on the Z2 Extreme. And in some cases, we still dip under 60, but this is how I've been playing through, and I've actually had a really good time on the Claw A8 with this game. These exact settings here. And it's really not that bad. Of course, it's not perfect, but out of all the handhelds that I've tested, I've not been able to get perfect gameplay out of Borderlands 4, even at these lower settings. Checking out the Steam Deck, I did a video on it. I mean, we were able to get up to like 36 FPS with frame gen on, all low settings, 800p. And we actually had FSR set to performance over there. So obviously we're getting much more out of this than we can with the Steam Deck. We're up on the wattage a little bit, up to 18 watts, but with this 80 watt hour battery, we can still pull off some pretty decent run times out of this game. But I really do hope that we get some more optimizations for these lower end APUs from Gearbox, because, you know, being able to just kind of lock this down at 60, not having those dips with frame gen on at 800p, I'd be totally fine playing this game through. And one thing that kind of throws people off is just having an FPS counter up on screen anyway. When you have that, you know what's going on with the system. With it completely off, this feels really smooth with frame gen and VSync enabled. But that's going to wrap it up for this one. I had a few people asking about Borderlands 4 on the Z2 Extreme, so I figured I'd go ahead and show it off. But it's kind of obvious with this game, they didn't have handhelds in mind, at least at the time of releasing it. This may change down the road. We might see better performance with optimizations, because the game's pretty new at the time of making this, and I really hope so. But if you mess around with the game settings on the Z2 Extreme, you can still have a pretty decent experience with it. If you want to see anything else running, or if you want to see this game running on another handheld, let me know in the comments below. Like always, thanks for watching.